9 wins in a row in all competitions. Oh, we are loving every single second of this. It is finished here at St James's Park. Newcastle United 3, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. And this is the last word.
We've got Bruno in the middle.
What a win. What an evening. We've got Dave, we've got Sam, and we've got Josh all the way from the States as well, to make sure you're giving some love in the comments as well.
Whereabouts in the States?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Tune Philly.
Tune Philly. Before we start this video, Lee is here telling us all about Stocks FC.
Yes, thank you very much, Johnny. So Isak and Gordon have scored. Get in there, because I have invested in them. Let's tell you a little bit more about Stocks FC, everybody. Get in.
Put your money where your mouth is if you know football. These are my portfolio players. Now, this will be updated because Isak scored a couple, got an assist, and Gordon. So you get your rewards later in the weeks. I cannot wait to get mine. Now, how you can win by investing. If your player makes team of the week, you'll get more and more points. So as you can see, currently, we have 4 Newcastle players in team of the week, which is pretty decent out of all the Premier League. Looking at team of the month also, we've got Martin Dubravka, Alexander Isak, Bruno Guimaraes, Anthony Gordon. Again, another 4 more Newcastle players. So you'll have more rewards. So the scoring matrix is simple here. Goals, you get 20 points. Penalties, 20 points. Winning team, 20. Clean sheet, 20. Assists, and so on. You can see that you can pick up a lot of points if you're picking players, investing in them who are currently on form. When you join using our link or scanning the QR code, you will get 5 free loans, which is pretty unique. That will mean that you will be able to potentially earn free money by getting 5 free loans, which will last for you for 30 days. So you've got nothing to lose. So these are live rankings. So currently, Martin Dubravka picked up 89 points in the Wolves game because he kept a clean sheet. Martinez picked up 54. Henderson, 68, but Dubravka's 89 because he's mint at the minute. Dan Burn, who I've got in my team, picked up 48 points against Wolves. I'll get that later in the week. So there's a lot here. Trippier, there's all sorts. There's loads that you can have a look at. Who's performing well? You can switch it with attacker. You can search for things like Newcastle United. Isak, 87 points against Wolves. Yes, please.
Maybe you lot should invest in Isak, because that man is absolutely on fire. Obviously, you can see the QR code. I better get out of there because I'm the cameraman today. Let's get back to Johnny.
I can't believe Lee has Stocks and Isak and Gordon when they're on fire at the minute. It's absolutely fantastic. Make sure you go into the QR code, which you can see on screen right now. Download the link in the description and make sure that you get involved as well. But yeah, what an evening it has been at St James's Park. Newcastle United won by 3-0. They're in the top 4. Absolutely fantastic. Josh, I'm going to kick off with you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the team news. No Fabian Schär anywhere. Yeah. He's somewhere in Newcastle, but apparently he's not very well, which is very unfortunate. Yeah. So Sven Botman retained his place. Apart from that, it was pretty much the same Newcastle United right now. You must be very confident going into that game when you look at that team.
Yeah, absolutely. When I saw that starting lineup against Wolves, I felt really good about it, and it paid off. I felt confident, and I feel vindicated.
Alexander Isak, so many goals. The man in form right now.
Yeah.
He must have been licking his lips before a ball was kicked today.
Absolutely. He was everywhere tonight. The way he backtracks, that's what makes him so versatile. 10 times better than Haaland, in my opinion, because he gives you everything. If he's not on it with the shooting boots that night, he can give you a pass. He can give you a through ball. He can give you crosses. He's so versatile. Some nights he's not on it, but man, is he on a purple patch, and it's 9 in a row now. So he broke Shearer and Willock's record, right?
Unbelievable. He's coming out with stats left, right, and centre. Sam, the start of the game, obviously, I'm not going to talk too much about Wolves. The only thing I will say, Mateus Cunha on the bench, very surprising, very, very surprising.
A welcome surprise.
Very much so. But in terms of the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, I thought Wolves, I think what they did, and Victor Pereira should get a lot of credit for this, I thought they minimised the space in the middle, and we couldn't really get through. Like Tonali and Bruno and Joe Linton were getting little bits of the ball, but it just wasn't really working. Most of our or trying to get most of our joys down the right-hand side.
Yeah, we didn't start well, and that was more credit to the opposition, really. I was expecting the 5 at the back as they did, but I was expecting more of a low block as opposed to them actually starting on the front foot, which again, credit to them. It was all a bit sloppy. We were sloppy in possession early. Our decision making in the final third was poor early doors. They could have scored and they should have taken the lead, really. It was a big chance. I was expecting a flag to go up, but it never came. So it's a good job they missed, really. But when you're down the bottom, look, we've been there ourselves a few years back. When it's not going your way, it's really not going your way. But we kind of asserted our quality kind of midway through the first half, and you could sense the tide had turned, and a goal for us was coming.
Yeah, it certainly was. We'll talk about Isak's goal in a second, but Dave, before Isak got the goal, Wolves had a big chance where it just went wide from really Newcastle defending a bit poorly, where they just weren't getting rid of the ball, and it came out towards our left-hand side, Wolves' right-hand side, and the shot was just dragged wide. That was a big chance and a big moment for Wolves at that point.
It was, yeah, because I think that was about the only time they came at us, wasn't it? But luckily it missed. Luckily it just missed. Where we were at, it looked like it was just missed because we were right up on the top end. But it was good to see it go past. At that time, I thought Wolves were just starting to put the nose in front a little bit. But obviously the goal came straight after that. Nice wicket deflect. It's one of them goals where when you've got a striker that's in form, everything he hits goes in, and he's on form at the moment. He could have had his back to goal there. It could have hit him and gone in. That's how they do it. When they're in form. Wicket deflection, but it was on target. So well done, Isak.
Yeah, well done, Isak, Josh. You have to say, as Dave rightly says, if Alexander Isak has that shot probably in the middle of November against West Ham, it's going towards the corner flag.
Yeah.
When he's scoring so many goals right now, that was always going in the back of the net. You could just tell because just the magnificent form he's in right now. But it's what Newcastle needed, and I think it almost deflated Wolves. It's like we've done pretty well so far, and the score from that.
Yeah, it's the kind of classic sucker punch. They were in that game. It was getting nervy. I was just saying with the Geordies around me, around that 30, 35-minute mark, I was like, it's starting to get nervy, and this is where Wolves can hurt you on the... I mean, they were diving. You could see what their game plan was. Fair play to them. And fortunately, for the most part, I think the officials got most of the calls right. He bought it a few times, but, that goal came at the perfect moment when we needed it.
Jacob Murphy had 2 moments earlier on in the first half as well. 2 very good saves from Jose. So particularly the second one, I think was a really good save where it was drilled by Jacob Murphy down the right-hand side. Tonali being involved. We'll mention him on the second half of the last week because Sandro Tonali. Oh, maestro. But Sam...
Not for the first time.
Not for the first time and not for the last time either. Little spoiler for you. But you have to say, Sam, yes, Newcastle had the chances, but 2 big moments for Wolves in the first half towards the back end. Has Dan Burn made a foul? When I think it was probably right under your nose actually in the first half.
Has he made a foul?
Has he made a foul? Has he made a foul on the Wolves attacker?
No.
And should Wolves have equalised when they hit the post? Why did they not equalise?
Because things just aren't going their way. They should have. They could have easily gone into the break 2-1 up. But for whatever reason, things aren't going their way. They've had a bit of new manager bounce. I didn't hear much support from their away section this evening. But the problem is with Wolves, they're a proper sing when you're winning fan base. And I can say that because I'm from not far from there. So I know it's factual. Cunha, if he was on in the first half, would he have buried them chances? I would expect him to.
Why did he not start?
I don't know.
I think they'll go for the counter-attack, won't they? He's not a counter-attacker player, he's more of a creative player. I think that's why they put the bank of 5 in, relied on the wingers to break off for the back.
Well, that's the way they're going to play. That's the way they're going to play now with the back 5. So you'd be mad for him not to play. It was a very strange one. And again, if, like you say, I was expecting them to low block and try and break us on the counter.
But they didn't early doors. And when
those chances came, particularly the first one, you would expect Cunha to bury something like that.
Well, he had a lovely chance in the second half, which just was supposed to where we were. Lovely turn from him, and he just clipped the post. It was lovely to see. But it's nice to see it miss. But it was a good chance, but it was good to see the miss.
Yeah.
There was a few like that where they broke through our lines, and with a better quality of finish, they could have done some damage tonight. They'll stay up on that performance, no problem whatsoever. When you look at, I think it's between them and Ipswich for the final relegation spot. And considering we've played them both in the past month or so, no, I don't think so. Although I was disappointed in them not getting something at home to Villa tonight, new manager bounce and all that. But look, that's irrelevant. We went in 1-0. We did, and the feeling was we could do with an early goal. Just kind of break their hearts a little bit and just make it a little bit more comfortable, because it was very apparent that Cunha was making his entrance for the second half.
Yeah, certainly. I think the one thing I would say going into half-time, I think half-time kind of came at the right time for both teams, if I have to be honest. Yeah. I'm not saying Newcastle had to reevaluate or anything. I just think almost going like, we're in control.
Like a reset,
yeah, it's certainly like a reset. Dave, when you look at Newcastle in the second half, shooting towards the Gallagher, they won the toss, believe it or not.
The toss.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You know, I've told there's a bigger cheer when we win the toss than what is when we score.
Honestly, I can't believe we took the lead.
I was actually talking about that. I went, why has anybody scored yet?
But no, in all seriousness, go back to the second half, Dave. Newcastle just needed that second goal. And Alexander Isak, you're not going to give him loads of space in the penalty box,
How wide open was he?
But it's what
happened before that really made it.
I've said on the match reaction with Sam, we've got so many good players who can make so many good passes, but as Bruno Guimaraes the only player on our team that could make that pass towards Isak?
No, I'll say Tonali's got the same as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Tonali's got the same passing as well.
It also kind of reminds me of that Miley pass versus Chelsea.
Yes, the last season. Yeah, we have got a couple that could do that. Yeah. Whether they could do it as consistent as Bruno, that's a different question, because I think they can do it on the one-off, maybe 1 out of 3, but on the consistent level like Bruno. Do you see the pass he did in the first half for Isak outside the boot where he came about 30-40 yards? That was a beauty. Deserved a goal, but obviously didn't. But yeah, you can't leave Isak wide open like that. You can't. He's gonna punish you if you leave him wide open there. He had about 20 yards round in the circle. It was massive. Yeah. But the Bruno pass was
superb,
lovely.
And even before then, for the quick throw, the ingenuity from Livramento and Murphy on the right hand side to even get it to that lovely intricate move, it was a really probably it's going to end up being a really underrated goal, because it was serious filth.
That was fantastic, Josh. I thought Newcastle were very brave, particularly in possession. Yeah. And there was one moment in the second half where we were in trouble a lot, and we were trusting Dubravka Botman on his right foot, which he's left-footed predominantly, and Newcastle play their way out of trouble, if you like. Tonali, Hall, and I said halfway through an attack, I was like, if this goes in, honestly, the roof will come off. And it nearly paid off. It was Anthony Gordon who has the shot inside the box. It's a fantastic block that takes it over the crossbar. Yeah. But Newcastle was showing their bravery. Is this something that's a little bit different to what we've seen from Eddie Howe, Newcastle United?
Yeah, I think definitely tonight you could see they were playing from the back. I mean, even moments at the end when you're in the game and live in the moment, you're like, hey, just hoof it. But it paid off most of the time. I mean, a couple of times we got caught, but that's going to happen throughout 90 minutes. And the confidence they've got, again, that's why Sandro to me is the key to this turnaround. Him being in that deep lying mid, he's already thinking about that pass before he gets it. And then it unlocks Bruno, because Bruno doesn't quite have the legs, but just having that couple extra yards up the field, his passes are then more dangerous, because that's a pass right on the edge of the box as opposed to maybe the mid-third or something like that. So, yeah, that we've got to keep building out, but we do need to be smart, I think, sometimes. There were a couple nervy moments, Cunha there at the end. We could have given away a sloppy one at moments, so.
Yeah, but Newcastle didn't. They kept another clean sheet, which is absolutely fantastic. And Sam, Newcastle wrapped it up, if they hadn't done before so, by being 2-0 up. They went 3-0 up. And Alexander Isak, once again, involved. Obviously played through by Joe Linton, who just about stays on the side. There's a long VAR check for that particular pass. And Alexander Isak's pass towards Gordon for the first time was blocked. But you never...
It was a shot. Well, it was a shot. He's a striker. He was on a hat-trick. It was a shot.
I'm going to say it's a pass. But anyway...
Looked like a pass from where I was sitting. I thought it was a pass.
Josh is always right. But what I will say, never keep a good man down. Anthony Gordon wasn't his strongest game, but he got the goal in the end. And I think... You could smell it. You could smell something like that could happen.
Yeah, all right. It might not have been his strongest game. I think the first half in particular, he was just trying to do a little bit too much. He didn't play bad by any stretch, but it was good to see him get another goal. And it just goes to show just how deadly our front three, if you like. Obviously, two really take the headlines ahead of Jacob Murphy, but he's played his part with many an assist over the past few weeks. But yeah, it was great to see. And Isak, goal scorer, turning provider. What more could you want? 2 goals and an assist. That's a good night in any striker's book. So yeah, and then the game was killed, and we were comfortable then, and you just knew it wasn't Wolves' night whatsoever. Their goal that got disallowed was pretty funny, but it just compounded their misery. Just when you think, oh, hang on, there's something to think about here. I don't think anyone in the stadium had any complaints about it. But then when there was a VAR check for handball...
Well, I actually heard Dave right up in the gods, and he was shouting, handball. did you see the handball, Dave? Because you probably had the best view.
Didn't see it. There was that many people in the box, you couldn't see it. So when it actually stopped, we were all, what's going on? We didn't know what was happening, what was going on. You couldn't see the handball at all. There must have been about 3 or 4 of them all in a circle around the place. So
there you go. There was no complaints for the goal up until...
we weren't actually
VAR
expecting a Wolves cheer, and it didn't come. There wasn't even like a or nothing.
Yeah,
it was just
so confused. I was like, did they score? Was it called offside? I was so confused.
As well, Dubravka made a beautiful save with his legs just before that.
I was going to say, Dave,
beautiful save.
You would have had a better view than all 3 of us.
What an absolutely beautiful save.
Is it world class?
Yeah, was. With his legs, it was like a Nick Pope does a lot with his legs. It was exactly that. But absolutely, I thought it was gone. But he scooped it with his left foot and up and hit the post and away. Beautiful save. Absolutely. If that had gone in, I don't like the caution of it could have changed the game, but it might have, because they were just starting to get the evidence there. But a lovely save by Dubravka. Lovely save.
Fair play to him. And it wasn't the only save he made, Josh. He made 2, 3, 4 saves. Like, a couple of them comfortable. But that's what you want your goalkeeper to do, to make sure that he's still alert, make sure that he's still, in the zone, if you like. Because, yes, you can be 3-0 up, but he's thinking, I want my clean sheet. I want to make sure when Nick Pope comes back, I'm still in this team. I know there's all this transfer rumour stuff, and we'll probably talk about transfers a little bit in the second half of the last word. But do your job, and that's what he certainly did.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's making it hard. I'll say, I've said many times, I still think you should try to cash in with all the PESR things we've said. A month ago, we all would have pretty much said that. But that's nothing against him. I love him. He kept us up during the dark days, and I remember that forever, just like with Miggy and all of them. But yeah, he was great tonight. He looked very confident. He wasn't bobbling the ball, and he did everything we can ask for him.
Yeah, he certainly did. And they finished 3-0. Newcastle in the top 4. Eddie Howe, 9 wins in a row in all competitions. He can make his own history if he gets a 10th against Bournemouth on Saturday against his old club. He'd be the only manager in Newcastle's history to get 10 wins in a row in all competitions. Absolutely outstanding. Eddie, tell us a little bit about that 9th win in a row.
Yeah, I think the first goal was key today. We needed it. He's got that freedom, and he's picked the ball out wide left there, and he's got that freedom, and then he's a really good dribbler. So these moments, we encourage him to get on the ball as much as he can. He's got a bit of luck with the deflection, but he probably deserves it in the end. When you've got the technical skills that he has, I think it's absolutely huge for us that we don't ask him to be sort of too central and static. We need him on the ball. We want him on the ball as much as we can in the attacking third. So he does have license and freedom within our structure to go and get the ball. But then he needs to score goals like this as well, and this is him in the middle of the goal. And he scored a lot like that recently from crosses where he's in between the sticks and he puts it away really calmly. That's why he's such a good player, because as you say, that looks an easy finish. He makes it look easy, but it's absolutely not, because you might get one of those in a game and you've got to take it. We need him to take it, but he's got that calmness and that coolness which all the top players have. I think like most strikers, he wants to practice his finishing. It's an art form, so he's there every day after training wanting to do more. I think the challenge for us is to get that balance, because you obviously there's load issues. We've got a lot of games.
Thanks, Eddie. Sam, let's talk transfers. And it is January. Would you have taken £11 million for Lloyd Kelly?
No.
Why not?
Because you'd never accept the first offer. Behave yourself. I'll put an offer in for your house, flat. Is it for sale yet? Is it on the market?
Depends who's asking.
What's the offer?
So exactly. Are you going to accept the first offer that comes in from me?
Listen, I'm going to give Carl credit here. Do you not take the first offer for £11 million for Lloyd Kelly?
No.
What is an acceptable offer?
15. And we'll shake hands right now. 15. And then that would be fantastic business. Pure profit. Free transfer. Yeah, he was on the bench. So pure profit because it was a free transfer that could then be reinvested in the squad for I don't know, a right-sided centre back, which was the target in the summer. Or obviously I would say all in agreement that right wing is the priority, but that would probably be more in tune with Miggy's potential return to Atlanta, which I'm sure you were about to mention. But yeah, Lloyd Kelly's an interesting one because it's not one that we expected. He's not done that badly, but I understand the kind of cry to say, yes, let's get this done. Let's flog him. Because he was essentially a replacement for Paul Dummett.
Yeah.
We've got Byrne and Botman in that left-hand-sided centre-back department now. So if you were to sell Kelly, you've still got a target there. Kelly's more to back up Lewis Hall. Yeah. Kelly's a more sellable asset than what Matt Targett is or what Dan Byrne is because of Byrne's age. So you could then maybe reinvest for Cher's long-term successor.
Dave, where do you stand on it? Would you take £11 million for Lloyd Kelly, or would you do what Sam says and maybe accept the second offer?
You never accept the first offer, do you? I've never known a club to accept the first offer unless it's something that's stupidly daft.
Is that not stupidly daft?
No.
After 6 months?
No. I would say, like what Sam said, around about the 15 million mark. It came out of the blue. It was like a total and utter shock. It was like all of a sudden there was a Fenerbahce getting mentioned. It was like, where'd that come from? No, like normally you get a little bit of a chew, don't you? Get like a little bit of a, and it just come totally out of the blue. But you never accept the first offer because if you're going to put offers for somebody, you come in with the lowest offers, can't you?
Exactly.
One thing that we can't rule out is they could be toying with that because they were originally trying to get Diego Carlos from Villa. There's a bit of stalling, so they may have just been doing that for a bit of leeway in that deal as well. But I'm quite surprised 11 million was the first offer though, because I thought they'd seriously lowball. I thought it would be 5 or 6 tops.
Potentially. Josh, I want to get your thoughts on Miggy Almiron because
you're American.
Well, let's get the American guy to talk about Miggy Almiron because Atlanta seem to be interested in re-signing Miggy Almiron. Newcastle would accept $10 million. Which is about 8.2.
Have you got a spare seat on the plane home next year?
Oh, he can fit in my carry-on if he wants.
But £8.2 million is a rough guide to that. Is that a fair price for Miggy? And do you think it's about time that he should go in the respect to further on his career, I suppose?
Yeah, I think with as much as this saga has kind of lingered on for now 3 windows, I think 8.5 would be more or less fair. And especially if he's going back to Atlanta. I'm not from Atlanta, but there's a couple guys from Atlanta Mags here, ironically, as well this week. And they were talking about how much they still love him there. And you guys were there for the preseason games, and you saw that. There were so many neutral fans there just to see Miggy return home. So I think that would be fair. And I'd love for him to leave now before it really sours. That's where it is with a couple of these guys. Their legacy is great, and I don't want it to be tarnished by the business side of this, and unfortunately we have to be ruthless and make money because of these dumb PSR rules.
Yeah. Aside from my flippant comment there, it is right that we point out that he has had a good, even last season, the games in the Champions League against PSG, both of them.
He got the first goal back in the Champions League for Newcastle.
And that is a memory that everyone that was there that night, people watching at home, no matter where you are in the world, that will hold on to for a very, very long time. Yeah. But it's a case, you don't want this to drag on too long, because if there is wiggle room and a potential fee to be had, and he will need replacing.
Yeah.
So
but who do you replace him with, Josh?
Listen, I've been with Sam for ages. We just need to splash the cash on right wing. We've been waiting for 3. I think the Bakayoko from PSV. I would like that. I think it's a little bit better value for money than Mbeumo, and some other teams are sniffing around Mbeumo, I think, as well. But that's where we need another big Sandro Bruno type signing, because if you get someone up there on that right wing,
it'd be frightening, wouldn't it?
It'd be frightening.
I think Bakayoko is the most realistic one fee wise.
Yeah, potentially. Dave, you're going to talk about the Premier League table, and it's here on your screen now. Now Newcastle are 4th in the Premier League table. They're above Chelsea, they're above Aston Villa, above Manchester City. They have the chance to extend that gap with Bournemouth on Saturday and being the early game. It's just going from strength to strength, and I think Eddie Howe will be saying one game at a time. But while it is one game at a time, and it's another home game, you've got to think we can keep this run going.
There's no reason why we shan't. When you see the two, to me today, we didn't play as good as what we have been, but we did enough. No, we didn't seem to come out of second gear. We just did enough to win the game. And you could tell that when he started bringing the big guns off at the end. Like he started making like Lewis Miley came on, Joe Willock. He's in a position now where he can do that. You can't say any fear. I know it's horrible to say, but at the moment you got no fear for nobody. No, especially being at home. We know we can turn anybody at home. Get the crowd behind them and all the rest of it. There's no fear anymore. Bournemouth used to be a sticky team for us, but I can't see why now.
Yeah, and
they'll have to play better than they did tonight.
They will, and I think that will be told by
so done it because they had the Howe thing.
Exactly, so it'll be possibly an emotional one for him, but you'll obviously separate that emotion for 90 minutes or so. Sam,
I'm sure you need to get over that. I'm sure he's over it by now.
The time for that I think is past.
Yeah.
Have you not seen him down the south coast and he's almost in tears? Yeah, so sad.
Be a good test for the defence. Semenya's a man in form. Yes, they've got a couple of injuries up top, but yeah, it's not a team. I think it's only Liverpool and Bournemouth Howe's not beat as Newcastle, and Luton.
Yeah, I think it's only been that.
Luton, maybe.
I think it was only that FA Cup when it was an own goal by.
Oh no, he has the Carabao Cup. Yeah,
the Carabao.
That's shocking. That's shocking. You should expect better from him in terms of stats.
Quite right.
But I want you to finish with Sandro Tonali because
bellissimo.
I just think he's just getting better and better week by week. And we obviously know the subtle change. We don't need to go on about that. We've mentioned that in previous videos.
We do, because it should have happened sooner. But
maybe, but we've mentioned it more in detail in previous videos. But how can you even describe the impact? And it's just, you look back last season, going, if we had them all last season, we definitely wouldn't have finished 7th. We would have been a lot higher. It's just crazy how much of an impact he's having.
He's just got now. Obviously, his ban's out the way, and that's obviously. Hopefully now completely closed a chapter in regards to his gambling and all that side of things. Everything else, he's just got the world at his feet in every way, shape and form. On the pitch, off the pitch, he's got everything, and it's just such a great. It's just a great thrill now to see everything click in that midfield, because we've said on paper for a long time that Joe Linton, Bruno, Tonali. That on paper looks like one of the top midfields in Europe. It never really came to fruition straight away. We started the season a bit lackadaisical and things weren't quite clicking, but now that it's one of the best midfields in Europe. And all of us, and I mean, filling in the little gaps around them and around Isak and around Botman, who I would include in that. We get to this time next year, then you'll have to start asking questions, and we still all have them players with a couple of quality additions. You'll be asking questions. We really should be winning things.
Are we in the title race?
No.
Dave,
we're in a League Cup, Carabao Cup. We're in a FA Cup. The double's on.
The double's on.
The triple's on.
The treble.
I was thinking that, but it will not play that well at the moment.
We need Forest. We need Forest.
I believe it, but it's on.
Yeah, Forest is the only scary one at the moment.
Yeah, we need Forest to start dropping points, because City will start playing again.
Chris Wood.
Yeah, Chris Wood. Dave, kick us off. Who was man of the match in your eyes?
It's hard to pick. I would like to pick Botman. Botman showed today that he's come back from an ACL, and yes, he hasn't lost any of his pace. There was a couple of interceptions, a couple of tackles he made in the second half where he's down with us, and they were absolutely sublime, absolutely pinpoint. There was a couple of them he could have made, it would have been a penalty, but he didn't. His timing, his pace, he has not lost any of his pace at all. There was a one-to-one with Semedo down the outside, left-hand side. We had to catch him, and he caught him, and he actually put. So I've got to give it, just for that, I've got to give it a Botman.
Sam?
2 goals and an assist. Alexander Isak.
Josh?
Yeah, I mean, Isak, I think it's the easy shout, but I have to put my bias on. I love Dan Burn. I think Dan Burn, like Botman, does a lot of the thankless work. He, even being in stadium for the first time watching that, you see him do so many little things just that prevents a dangerous moment from happening.
He was leading the press at one point.
Yeah, I mean, he was going on a joyride at one point. I'm like, you go, son. But yeah, I love Dan Burn, and I'm, like I said, I'm probably being a little generous to him, but I think he put in a class performance.
Yeah, man of the match.
Man impact as well when he came on. Trippier.
Yeah.
Just see him calming down the back end, especially with Dubravka, because Dubravka likes the quick releases. Yeah. Trippier a couple of times was going, no, just calm it down.
That's why he can't leave.
Leadership. Honourable mention to Dubravka, so many good saves. Honourable mention to Bruno Guimaraes. Sandro Tonali, so close to getting man of the match, but I agree with Mr. Milner. I'm going for Alexander Isak. 2 goals and an assist. I'm sorry, you just can't say no to that. Livramento as well deserves a bit of a credit as well.
Yeah, Tino had a good game.
He did. But yeah, I'll tell you what, do you want another home game? in a couple of days' time, Saturday lunchtime.
Oh, go on then.
Go on then, it's Bournemouth on Saturday lunchtime. Can Newcastle United make it 10 wins in a row in all competitions? They will definitely be third if they do, which is even better. From Dave, from Sam, from Josh, and from me, Johnny, we'll see you all very soon.
We've got Bruno in the middle.